Ahmed Salkida, a Nigerian journalist known for his rare insights into the working of Boko Haram group, has sensationally revealed that only 15 out of the 113 Chibok schoolgirls believed to be in the custody of insurgent group are still alive. In a series of tweets this Saturday, April 14, which marks the 4th year anniversary of the abduction of the over 200 girls from their school in Chibok, Borno State, Salkida said his painstaking investigations revealed that many of the girls died from crossfires and bombardments of the security forces that were intended to rescue them. He also revealed that the remaining 15 girls are no longer under the control of the Abubakar faction of Boko Haram as was believed. According to sources, they are now married and only their husbands can decide their fates, Salkida tweeted while accusing the Nigerian government of negotiating for girls that are no longer existing. The journalist added that Chibok can only negotiate for the girls if their husbands were killed or they were divorced from them. Even then, he said the girls have been indoctrinated and their leader, Chibok, has no right to negotiate for their release, no matter the ransom offered, an information he attributed to multiple sources. Salkida, who said it will be unbearable for him to share the name of the 15 girls that are still alive, however challenged government to prove his claims about the death of the Chibok girls wrong or stop negotiating for many of the girls that don't exist. Salkida also offered rare insights into how the girls were abducted as well as his involvement in the futile effort to get them released under former President Goodluck Jonathan. See the tweets below. 1/4 years ago, a middle-ranking BH commander led dozens of fighters in search of food and other supplies in the remote town of Chibok. Like an afterthought, they saw a chance to abduct schoolgirls in GSS Chibok. The girls at the time were preparing for their exams. Ahmed Salkida, at Contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. The dozens of BH fighters faced no opposition during the abduction, as they struggled to convey their captives to the forest of Alagrano, the insurgents' first war capital, which they named Timbuktu. It was in Timbuktu that they organized most of the horror we experience today. Ahmed Salkida, at Contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. Some of the girls were lucky to have escaped on their way to Timbuktu that night, because there were fewer fighters to hold more than 200 girls. At the beginning, the group didn't know what to do with the girls, at least, not in the first 1 month of their captivity. Ahmed Salkida, at Contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. However, what many people did not know was that 2 weeks into the abduction, the Jonathan administration was already in touch with me for the peaceful release of the girls. By the way, I was in self-exile after pressure from the same govt. Ahmed Salkida, at Contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 5/ I took an excuse where I was doing a menial job in the UE, but still reporting the insurgency, to see the president, which was facilitated by Allah Ijebi and Labaran Maku. By the 3rd of May, I was already on my way from Abuja to Madagali, Marwa and finally to a BH camp. Ahmed Salkida, at Contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 6/ I got a proof of life for the president and another for the media in case I didn't get back. The demands of BH then were simple. They wanted detained members taken to Damaturu and they will move the girls to Bunayarti for swap somewhere in between. There was no word on ransom. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 7/ I was provided with full military escorts from Abj to Damaturu. Govt was supposed to make sure that 70 detainees were ready on my arrival in Damaturu to meet 30 there. The rest of the negotiating team was in Abj making sure the prisoners were on a plane before my arrival. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 8/ On arrival in Damaturu, the military commander there was not briefed about my work. He was merely told to expect a VIP. At that time, the girls have been moved by BH, but there was no prisoners for exchange and I got a call from the former CDs to abort the operation. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 9/ The president later said before me that he did not call off the swap. There was a credible window, but zero will to rescue the girls. I returned to the UE to continue my hustle, but received invitations not only by the former administration, but the current govt. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 10/4 out of 5 process that I was involved in, we came close to a swap deal. But govt in most instances did not provide the platform I presented with the required expertise. And whenever govt dragged its feet, Shakal will shift the goalpost. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 11/ I continued my reporting on the crisis, often critical of govt and BH, with both sides raising concerns. For me, I am a reporter before anything else. Many officials consider me as somebody who was too independent-minded for a process that needs to be shrouded in secrecy. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 12/ govt began to look for alternatives to conclude what I've started and my former couriers stepped in as the primary negotiators. It was a break for me because it is no longer negotiations, but mere transaction. Another reason was my insistence that the process must be domesticated. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 13/ I was a prickle in the flesh of our leaders weight my counterclaims of official narratives. A day after I exclusively released a video of the girls, something I've done in the past, I was declared wanted by same military. THT provided me weight escorts, military aircraft for assignments. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 14/ I was amazed to learn later that the terms that saw the release of some of the girls was unfavorable than what I presented, but as my friend will say, even if we come up with a cure for cancer, the war economy and elites would rather die than accept a cure from a Dalaka. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 15/ Today, my painstaking investigations on the Chibok schoolgirls revealed that just a handful of the 113 Chibok girls are alive. Many of the girls have died as a result of crossfires and bombardments of the security forces that no doubt were intent on rescuing them. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 16/ I regret to state here that only 15 out of the 113 Chibok girls are alive today, based on my investigations in the last 3 months, and we have already seen some of them in a video, which I exclusively obtained and was published on senior website. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 17/ What is the status of the remaining 15 girls as far as negotiations are concerned? My investigations also revealed that they are no longer under the control of Abubakar Shakal. According to sources, they are now married and only their husbands can decide their fates. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 18/ If they are divorced or the men are killed, that is when Shakal's decision takes precedence, and in this instance, since the girls have been indoctrinated, their leader has no right to negotiate for their release, no matter the ransom offered, reliable multiple sources said. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 19/ It will be unbearable to share the names of the 15 that are alive here. This is the responsibility of God. When I was involved, I regularly provided proof of life. God must demand that to prove me wrong or stop negotiating for many of the girls that don't exist. Thy sense Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 20/ The secrecy around the condition of the Chibokgirls and most recent Chibokgirls debacle by those involved is the reason people like me are out of the picture. The fact remains that under the present circumstances there is no room for peace settlement. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 21/ The way out for these girls is a military rescue or negotiate with individual captors to release their wives in return for some kind of deal, but this will mean death to these fighters. BCZ The terror group now sees the girls as part of their own and must be protected. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 22/ How comes there is little or no information about the girls and both the parents and campaigners are in the dark? Because Govt resist independent reporting of the crisis. Most of the reports are choreographed and Nigerians are also not ready to hear the truth or stand by it. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 22/ How comes there is little or no information about the girls and both the parents and campaigners are in the dark? Because Govt resist independent reporting of the crisis. Most of the reports are choreographed and Nigerians are also not ready to hear the truth or stand by it. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 24/ I've risked my life and that of my family in the past and even now, not only to tell this story, but to play the role of a mediator and fact-finder. But as soon as the FG found alternatives, my sacrifices got an official ridicule and I am being hounded. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 25/ I hold no other intention of doing this than the need to stir a debate to demand more insights and bring closure to the parents. The nation must not fail you from rescuing your daughters and also fail to tell you the truth. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018. 26/ My heartfelt condolences to the parents of the near 100 that have perished or have not returned home and apparently not with their captors. But you must always remember that your daughters were stronger than the rest of us that couldn't do more to avert this catastrophe. Ahmed Salkida, at contact Salkida, April 14, 2018.